Wow. Hope everybody's doing okay today.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to pass around what I'm going to speak from today. If you all could just take a copy and pass the others on around to you, those beside you. And everyone, all these devices working that are laying up here, does anybody need to sound check or make sure everybody good? We all good?
Yes, sir.
You good, Andre?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank all of you all for being here this afternoon. I know since yesterday afternoon, y'all have been trying to figure this situation out, kind of like we have as well. I would like to thank all of my staff. A lot of those are not guys and gals are not here today, but two of my gal on this side and others for not only what they did yesterday, but what they do every day, but especially days like yesterday. As I tell everyone, as a police officer, we see and touch things that humans should never have to do in a lifetime. And yesterday was truly one of those days. At about 3:42 p.m. yesterday, let me back up, and I'd also like to thank, there were a lot of EMS, our emergency medical staff that were there yesterday involved in this situation as well, and I would like to thank them along with our folks for what they did yesterday and what they do each and every day. But more especially, the situation at hand yesterday was tough. At approximately 3:42 p.m. yesterday, the Amherst County Sheriff's Office was made aware of an incident involving an unresponsive 2-year-old child who wasn't breathing. Deputies responded to 5005 South Amherst Highway, the Chestnut Academy Daycare, where a 2-year-old Hunley Owen Hamlet was observed unresponsive. Deputies performed CPR upon arrival, and the medic units took over when they arrived on the scene. Medic units then responded with the child to the Lynchburg General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 4:40 p.m. yesterday. During the course of the investigation, it was determined that the custodian of the child, Brian L. Dalton, failed to drop the child off at daycare yesterday morning, then took him to work with him and left him in the back seat of the car where the child remained unattended. When Dalton got off from work yesterday afternoon, he went to daycare to pick up the child and was told the child had not been dropped off that morning. Dalton was then detained on scene and later charged with the following offenses: Virginia Code Section 18-371.1, abuse and neglect of children, and Virginia Code 18-36, involuntary manslaughter. The investigation is ongoing, but thus far there is no evidence to prove that this was an intentional act. Again, I would like to reiterate that the Chestnut Academy Daycare had absolutely nothing to do with this situation. Their staff was more than accommodating. Of course, they were part of the situation when it was determined that the child was in the car when the custodian pulled onto their lot yesterday afternoon. But they have been more than cooperative with us, and as I said, and I reiterate, they had nothing at all to do with this situation. It's just a tragedy that we never expect to happen, never should happen, but it's unfortunate that it did. As a man of faith, I would have to say the only consolation that I can find in this is this little fella has faced many challenges in his short life. Now he has the ability to grow and flourish without life's challenges in his eternal home. So at this time, I'll address any questions that you all may have.
Sheriff, are you able to confirm, did the custodian ever go to the daycare that morning at all, or just leave?
No, ma'am, there's no indication that he went there at all yesterday morning with the child.
Could you share maybe how far he had to travel from his job back to the
Just into the city downtown Lynchburg.
Are you able to share how long the child was in the car?
Approximately 8-hour shift.
9 hours.
Yeah.
Is the custodian currently in custody?
He is in custody with Blue Ridge Adult Detention.
Did the child show any signs of abuse prior, or is this kind of just so?
We have no record of that at this time.
Sheriff, the community, as you would imagine, just devastated. They are questioning how this could really happen. How can someone not see a child in the back seat? How could someone not, as horrible as it sounds, maybe smell a soiled child in the back seat? Could you elaborate or answer any of those questions?
A lot of those questions we have as well, Mr. Whitehead, and we're trying to work through those. The child was in a safety restraint seat, but how you forget that a child is in the car with you, you forget to drop them at daycare, then you go into work and forget they're, in the back seat of a vehicle restrained in their car seat. We don't know. We don't know. That's questions that remain unanswered for us as well.
The medical examiner ruled an official cause of death yet?
The medical examiner's office is they're doing their investigation today, so we have not gotten a report from them. But it is a full ME case, and he was there at the ME's office today.
Do you expect any more charges to come against the custodian or anybody else in this case?
The investigation is still ongoing. Anything may be possible.
Did the daycare notify the parents when the child wasn't dropped off at the daycare?
To my knowledge, no, that it was not policy, because some parents, they just, they bring children one day and then, if they work shift work or whatever, so it's random. So to our knowledge, it was not a policy for them to call and check if a child is not dropped off.
Were any life-saving measures taking place when the child was found?
Yes, they did. Our deputies, along with EMS, did initiate CPR and work on the child till he got to the hospital, and he was pronounced dead at 4:40 p.m. yesterday. But he was, our deputies and EMS,
The daycare also.
and the daycare helped as well initially when the child was found. Till deputies got there, they took over, and then EMS got there shortly after, and everyone exalted every effort they could to bring life back in this little fella, but time had gone too far.
Have you had any contact with the man's wife? And does the child have any siblings?
I don't know. I can't answer.
How are you all doing, and are there any mental health resources or things available for your staff?
Yes, made provisions for that yesterday, and that opportunity is open for the men and women and the folks of public safety this afternoon.
What about the daycare workers? How are they holding up?
I think yesterday they were pretty much in shock, to be honest with you, as anyone would be. But we have been as reassuring as we can to them that they did all they could do, you know, with a situation and had absolutely nothing to do, you know, as part of it happening.
And this was a 24-hour daycare, we're told?
I don't know whether they do.
I don't know if they do that.
No?
No, they just daylight, as far as I know, Mr. Whitehead.
Was business going ahead as today? Are they open today?
As far as I know.
No,
Yeah.
they-
No, they closed today.
They're closed. They said that they would be closed until further notice. Just
Okay.
Until things get settled.
Yeah.
I have an interesting question, Sheriff. For those in the community who come up with these theories and become self-investigators, for lack of a better term, any word to maybe get them to kind of calm the waters and let the investigation run its course?
What I would ask is, you know, as human beings, everyone has their opinions, their feelings, negative, positive, whatever it may be. I have all the faith in the world in the men and women that I have the pleasure to work with and the honor to work with each and every day. And I hope the community understands that we're going to get to the bottom of this to the best of our ability, in a lawful way, to make sure that no stones are left unturned in this investigation. There was nothing intentional on anyone, and even if you classify it as a grave act of irresponsibility, those that were part of that are going to be held accountable for it. So, you know, I just ask that, you know, this little fella had family. He had friends. He had daycare workers that loved him. There were a lot of folks that loved him. So when folks make their comments, keep these people in mind that this little fella had his little place in this world. And regardless of what your feelings may be about how his fate ended, remember, there are folks around him that loved him and cared for him and would have done anything in the world to make sure that his life was fulfilled. But as unfortunate as may be, there are folks that get out there and say and make comments that are hurtful to people that love this little fella and may have tried to help him from time to time through his short life. So I just be mindful of the comments that you make.
When you guys managed to get the custodian, was there any indication of substance abuse, maybe playing a role, fatigue, or anything that was going on in his life that could have
At this time, we can't comment on that.
Do you know how long he was with the custodian before he got to the daycare, or not before the daycare, before he got to work?
The only thing that I can speak to is that he was placed in the car yesterday morning at the same time that the custodian was leaving to go to work. So it would have been pretty much all day.
I know you mentioned that he was in foster care. Do you know how long he'd been living
No,
with his
ma'am.
family?
Do not.
February.
Since February.
And
He-
Mr. Dalton is working with you all fully?
He has been
That's a good
cooperative.
thing.
Yes, he has been fully cooperative with us. Yes, he has.
Did he show any signs of remorse?
Yes, amongst other emotions, as anyone would. Yes.
Just one clarifying detail. Court documents seem to indicate that the child's date of birth was August 2nd, 2023. Is that correct? Would his second birthday have been tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes.
As you said, that this is something that, as law enforcement, is unfortunate to see. It's heartbreaking. What would be a message that you would give to parents going forward? I know this is something that you see in the news every summer, but what was the message you would give to other parents to kind of warn them against this kind of danger?
It's very unfortunate that our society today lives so fast. And to think that we would live in a life that is so fast that you would forget that you would leave a little fellow like that in the back seat, even if they're asleep. I'm parents to two grown folks now, two grown individuals now, and a grandfather to a granddaughter. You just have to be mindful, and always our children have to be at the forefront of whatever, whether it's our children or whether it's children that we are in custody of, taking care of, babysitting, whatever it may be. You know, we as adults are the mentors and those that create the foundation for every child. And we just need to be mindful and always remember when you restrain the child in the back seat of a vehicle that you stay attentive to their well-being and never exit a vehicle and leave a child unattended inside of a vehicle for any amount of time, any amount. So that is the piece of advice that I can give parents, grandparents, loved ones, whomever that may be transporting a child in the vehicle, is always be attentive. A lot of the newer vehicles now have a light that flashes on the vehicles, check occupant area or check rear seat area or something. When you cut the car off and go to exit, it kind of blinks. And that is for a reason. Always, you know, check to see what your cargo is and take care of it.
That vehicle that he was found in yesterday, that didn't have any kind of safety mechanisms?
Now, I don't know whether that one does or not, but I know the new ones now. I drive a 2024, and it does. When you get out of it, it blinks, and a bell dings a couple times, says check rear compartment area or something like that, cargo area or something. Yes, but as a parent, now grandparent, we need to be mindful of those little ones that we transport. Any other questions that you all may have?
Do you happen to know Dalton's age? Brian Dalton?
Not right off.
We can get that for you.
Born in 93.
I'll get that, and
That's fine.
it's a resident of Madison Heights, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And a custodian, just wondering, but I heard something about foster care.
Correct. The
So-
child was foster care. Yep.
Sheriff, you've been at this for a while. In these situations, if everything pans out to be an accident, some people have said that the remorse, the grief, is sufficient penalty versus any kind of jail time. I know we're early into this. You got any thought on that?
Obviously, the prosecution side of it comes from the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, not us. We do our efforts to put the case together, investigate it to the best of our abilities, and bring the findings forth to the Commonwealth Attorney as they move forward with the prosecution stage of it. I myself, as a human being, thinking if I found myself in a situation, I don't know how I could deal with it. I don't know, and you know, there again, I can pass opinions and thoughts about this situation, but I can only tell you I don't know how I would cope with something like that. And to speak to what the defendant may be feeling, I don't know, but each of us as human beings in this room, to think that we were responsible for something like this happening would be a lot to live with. Any other questions anyone may have?
Do you know the circumstances surrounding the child being in foster care?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Sheriff, you touched on it today and even yesterday out in the field. You mentioned how you all see things that you shouldn't see and will never forget. How are you all holding up? How's your team?
It's tough, you know. These guys and the road deputies that first got there, and you know, were doing everything within their power to put life back in this child, is, you know, and to see a situation like this, and then later, once the dust settles and you figure out, or you determine what's happened and what's caused it. It's a lot for these guys, you know, and the EMS people that were using all of their talents and training to do something. It's something that you never expect to have to deal with as a human being. It's one of those things that's unrealistic. You know, I know last night a couple times I woke up and and when I got up this morning, it's the first thing on my mind this morning. You know, thinking, how did this happen? Why did it happen? All the ifs, whys, whats, what could have. But, you know, it's happened, and, you know, as I said, my consolation as far as I'm concerned is, you know, the little fella has endured many challenges in his short life, but now he's in a place better than we are. And, you know, he's in his internal home. Any other questions? Again, I thank you all for being here today, and I thank all of you all for what you do. You help us out greatly day in, day out, getting messages out when we need, and y'all have, speaking from the Central Virginia community, you all do a great job, and I ask that you all keep this family and folks and those that care, the daycare workers, everyone that was exposed directly to this situation, keep them in your prayers, and think about especially these men and women, what they do each and every day, and our EMS workers across the street. It's a tough job. Yep. So thank you all again. Did everybody get a copy of that? Thank you, sir. You need one? Thank you all. Y'all determine what